name is Nick Poliansky. I am the team leader of the Poliansky Group, and we are with EXP Realty. I have been licensed and full-time since June of 2013. I am from this area. I was born and raised in the DMV, specifically Prince George's County, and we service D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. So I've been interested in real estate since I was a kid. Just curiosity about different houses and neighborhoods we saw going up, and what it would be like to live there. I don't know, real estate's kind of always been something I was interested in. I was working in customer service, like in the restaurant world for, when I was a teenager into my adult years. I was kind of going to college with a focus in business, but not really sure what I was going to do with it. So, real estate seemed like the natural progression for wanting to, grow my income outside of what potential the restaurant world offered. So I took the class and got licensed in 2013, and I haven't looked back. I've always kind of been a people person, so it allows you to connect with a lot of different people on a really personal level. Helping people buy and sell houses, it's obviously how we make a living, but it is a really important process for most of them, and it tends to be the largest financial transaction that they'll ever do in their lifetime. So it's a responsibility that we take seriously. So we've slowly just built our reputation on the customer service that we've delivered to our clients, and it's allowed us to grow a pretty big business. Like mentorship and guidance. So I started on a team, and that didn't turn out the way that I had hoped. So I joined another team, and then that really didn't go as I had planned either. So I kind of learned the hard way that the team structure isn't for everybody. So as my business started to grow, I wanted to do it the right way and kind of make sure that anybody that we brought on board wasn't going to have the same experience that I had early in my career. So I worked with my cousin for a few years. He was kind of like a pseudo buyer's agent, and he still works with us. But before I got into real estate, my mom had given me a book called the MREA. It's kind of the real estate Bible for Keller Williams. And even though we're no longer with Keller Williams, I owe a lot to them for our success in this business. But it's all about models and systems, and the structure of a team should start off with 2 admins. So that's kind of what we have right now. My wife quit her job 2 years ago to help us run the team, and our goal was for the next hire to be somebody that would replace her. So we hired a listing coordinator / partner agent back in March, and she's been awesome. And so she handles a lot of the day-to-day stuff and a lot of the minutia of the business, and my wife handles database, big picture things, helping us grow the team and client events and things like that. Bowie is uniquely positioned within 3 major metropolitan areas. It's within a 30-minute drive to Annapolis, which is obviously the state capital of Maryland, Baltimore, which is the largest city in the state of Maryland, and then also Washington D.C. So just its proximity to those 3 areas, and then also Andrews Air Force Base and Fort Meade, it tends to be a very transient area. So I think that the market around here is really solid. Things have been crazy since COVID, and we're starting to see things cooling off in a lot of other areas, but Bowie still remains, one of the hottest markets that we still do business in. So I really enjoy the buyer process, right? I started my career as a buyer's agent, and even though the 2 teams that I was on weren't the right fit for me, I still got a lot of experience and primarily focused on working with buyers. So, there's a lot more interaction with buyers, like guide them through the process, and it tends to be a fun experience. When COVID started, no one really knew what was going to happen with the housing market, so we still were probably 50-50 at that point, buyers and sellers. But as we got into late spring and early summer of last year, it was just insanity. So, buyers that needed a little bit of closing help, or buyers that weren't as well qualified, if they were going FHA or USDA, they were having a really hard time finding properties and being able to win in multiple offer situations. So, we slowly but surely got all those buyers under contract. But again, listings is the name of the game in real estate. So that just kind of reminded us that we needed to shift our focus to the listing side. We understand that the business is super competitive. It chases a lot of people out because it is so competitive. So we've kind of pivoted with the market We're not very strict with our commission structure. We do offer a tiered structure that allows for flexibility for sellers. So, different brokerages have different models when it comes to what they offer, and we try to be a blended version of all of that. So we can be a one-stop shop for sellers. So we even have a concierge program. We're able to front the cost for minor repairs and updates, so we can net the sellers. If you're on the fence as to whether or not now is the right time, definitely do it now before it's too late. I think Bowie is, primed to have a consistent market for the foreseeable future, but there's a lot of other areas where we're seeing properties aren't selling in that first weekend. We're not getting multiple offers, and we're even having to have price reduction conversations, which we haven't had in the last couple of years. So if you're thinking about selling, now is definitely the time. I try to plug into a lot of the top real estate economists and different publications, so I can kind of get a blended version of what people are predicting and where they foresee things going. I definitely think the DC area is somewhat insulated from larger national downturns and trends. We have a really solid economy around here with the government presence, military, even the private sector. So I'm hopeful that if there is a correction, it just takes us back to where we were pre-pandemic, and it's not something that falls greater than that. But I guess, it's somewhat still to be determined. Listing coordinator actually was a waitress at Jerry's, and me coming from the restaurant world, we struck up that conversation when we had we used to do like masterminds over there with the brokerage I was with before, EXP, and it's an awesome family-owned restaurant, great local seafood. They have they're famous for their crab bombs, which are basically huge crab cakes that you definitely don't want to have for lunch. It'll slow you down, but it's my favorite restaurant, Bowie. So the old Bowie Bel Air neighborhood, which is right behind us, is still a very hot neighborhood. Basic home styles, they have the Rambler, Cape Cod, and a colonial version, but it still offers affordability and prime location to where that's still one of the hottest neighborhoods in Bowie. There's a lot of newer communities that offer, fancier, nicer houses. Fairwood's a great community. Oak Creek. I think Woodmore borders Bowie as well, so those are some of the top neighborhoods in the area. Well, again, it goes just back to its location. I mean, on the weekends, you're just a short drive from, you can go down to Annapolis and walk around the waterfront, grab lunch, and check out some of the shops. Same thing with DC. You'll never run out of stuff to do going to DC or Northern Virginia. You can even take a ride down to Southern Maryland, and there's rivers in the Chesapeake Bay, and so you're kind of right in the middle of all that right here in Bowie. So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Nick Poliansky Realtor. We're getting ready to start a YouTube channel, so we're trying to start doing more of this. The Polianskygroup.com is our website, so check us out.